as we head into this holiday weekend, celebrating the birth of our nation. Nothing, it seems to me, matches anything on television for drama and excitement than the testimony yesterday in front of the House committee investigating the January 6th insurrection, and the testimony of one Cassidy Hutchinson, who appeared out of nowhere and has already, within minutes, entered the annals of incredible congressional witnesses. Oliver North, John Dean. Dare we forget Fawn Hall?
She's on the dream team.
She really is.
Yeah.
Again, we don't normally talk about politics, but there are elements about this in terms of storytelling.
Correct.
And what this committee has done that has been very, very smart. Again, we don't have to get into the merits of what she had to say, except to point out a couple of things. One is the best bits of her testimony about Trump apparently allegedly grabbing the steering wheel and attacking the Secret Service agent was hearsay. If this was an ordinary trial, that probably would not have been allowed.
No.
The Republicans made a strategic mistake, it seems to me, a year ago by not being on this committee and not therefore challenging any of these witnesses who say things like this. So that's one thing. A lot of the juiciest stuff that she discussed yesterday, she did not see firsthand. And there's already attempts by Trump partisans to say that she's nothing but a glorified receptionist. I'd like to see the receptionist union respond to that. And that a lot of the stuff she didn't see. But the reason I bring this up, beyond the fact that it's great storytelling and people who are out there and tell stories for a living should take some lessons from this, is that already in the blowback against this young woman, which will be persistent and devastating, I predict, is the comparison, calling her, again, like I said, a glorified receptionist, someone who didn't know what was going on, and then apparently what is seen as being the ultimate fatal criticism, Amber Heard 2.0.
Yes.
So
yes.
This is fascinating on so many psychological levels.
Agree.
That Amber Heard has already entered the pantheon of right-wing pariahs. And I dare say she'll be used by other people, probably not necessarily right-wingers, in the future. What do you make of this at first blush? That's all just happened yesterday, obviously, but what do you make of the invocation of someone like Amber Heard, who on the last national holiday we had, on Memorial Day, nobody knew who she was. But as we head into a new one, everybody knows who she is.
Yeah, good point. Well, you put yourself out there, and she seems to have the same kind of personality as Amber. It's almost like these people are just glossed over, and they look like they're put into a position, and then they lose their personality or something. They're just like relaying what they say or the circumstances of the given situation. And then you sort of have already formed an opinion based on their demeanor.
Right.
Their demeanor.
Right. I mean, she's obviously a very attractive young woman, a very accomplished young woman as well. But
Absolutely.
She had a history there. You know, one of the things you and I pointed out when we talked about the Depp testimony versus the Heard testimony in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation case was he had a better story. So I would take issue with the characterization of her being Amber Heard 2.0. I know what they mean. They mean that she's a liar and you shouldn't be believed. And there's also, I think, some deep Freudian psychological issue about an attractive woman who they find both scary and untrustworthy. You know, she fits a certain kind of, I don't know, Black Widow stereotype that they have. But her story is a good one. I mean, she has her conservative bona fides, right? I mean, she worked for Ted Cruz. She worked for Mark Meadows. She worked for Steve Scalise. And they made a point of pointing that out yesterday. So they're trying to sort of say that she's not some kind of, fox in the hen house here. She is someone who's been a conservative up and down the line. And she was appalled by what she saw. So anyway, that's the only reason I wanted to bring that up, because I just found it fascinating that as they rooted around in their toolkit yesterday afternoon for ways to trash this woman, they finally found a bright, shiny new tool, and it was called Amber Heard 2.0.
It's funny that you're using Amber in the analogy of a tool. What's really interesting is that as she was relaying what had happened from her point of view, it reminds me of all of us when we're young and we sort of get into this situation at work and we've aspired to get somewhere. And here she was in the seat of power at the White House. And you think things are going to be a certain way, and then something happens, and then you're faced with the reality of this is the way it really is, and it's not the way I thought. And it reminded me a little bit of a young me.
Right. It was horrifying, but every word rang true.
Yes.
Nothing
Yes.
about this. You said, I don't think that's what it's like. No, that's exactly what happened.
You were almost watching her say, I know you're not going to believe me, but I know you're not going to believe me, but, and I was shocked by this, but.
Right.
And so it was fascinating on that level.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, the words ketchup on the wall are going to live on forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I brought her up only to make that connection to the lingering cultural effect of the Johnny Depp case and what's going on with this.